My younger brother tried to touch me inappropriately while I was sleeping. I told her parents about it and they blamed me for it happening. There was a moment back in middle school when my younger brother, who's only a year younger than me, made me feel so terrible that I wished I could just disappear. We were super close, to the point where others were envious of our bond. The first time it happened, I was completely taken aback and didn't know how to react, so I just acted like I didn't see anything. I really wish I had handled it differently. One weekend afternoon, while I was napping and our parents were around, my brother touched me and even tried to record it. I woke up and caught him in the act. I was completely taken aback back then. My mind was all over the place. Even though he was saying sorry and pretending everything was fine, I felt so humiliated that I couldn't even bear to look at him, so I just told him to leave. My head was spinning with a million questions. Had he shared it online? How often has this gone down? Who else did he send it to? Did he sell it off? Did he use it for his own pleasure? What was he really thinking about me? I was in full-on panic mode, my hands and feet were shaking, and I couldn't even cry or breathe right. I never thought my brother would do something like this, especially him. My parents went out for a bit and after a couple of hours, I started to feel like something was off, so I texted my mom. I asked her not to tell my dad because he really cares about me and I was so embarrassed. About an hour later, my brother left the house. When my mom got home and asked about it, she said dad had called for him. So, all my worries were totally ignored, lol. Did they mention something like, your brother should have a chat with dad? I was super anxious, worried that dad might actually hit him or something really bad could happen. But honestly, I think it was all just my imagination running wild. They came back laughing and talking like nothing was wrong. Ugh, in that moment, I felt like I wanted to disappear. It was such a nightmare. My family usually gets along really well and we're pretty close. We're doing alright financially and have a good time together. But that night, my mom had a bit too much to drink and ended up hitting my brother a few times. What really hit me hard was hearing everything, and then my mom said, you're part of the problem too. Who wears such short pajamas at home? I've never faced anything like this before, so I'm not sure what to do. Back in the day, my pajamas were those trendy short-sleeved tops with matching shorts. I guess you could say I played a part in it. I was pretty slim, and my chest was a C-cup, so it wasn't exactly small. But does that really justify what happened? Was it really on me? I was just chilling in my regular pajamas at home, getting some sleep. Does that mean I should take the blame? After that incident, I struggled to live normally for about a year. Even in class, while eating, or just hanging out at home, especially during showers, those memories and feelings were so intense. I just wanted to escape my own skin. My family, they all seemed to be doing just fine. I was the only one feeling like a total wreck while everyone else acted like nothing was wrong. It was as if they were too scared to even bring it up. Then came the family trip that had been planned ages ago. It was just a few days after the whole thing went down, and since it was with my grandparents, I couldn't really say no to my mom. But that wasn't the end of it. During the trip, my parents kept pushing me and my brother to patch things up while they were off having a blast, laughing and enjoying themselves. Is this what they call making up? It felt like I was the one who had to let everything go. Eventually, I decided to reach out to my brother first, and we managed to reconnect as if nothing had ever happened. Everyone around us was singing his praises, saying things like, he's such an awesome brother. You're really lucky to have him. Really? I brought up the whole situation again during a family gathering. My mom said, I had no idea it went that far. I'm sorry. But since it was during a heated discussion, it didn't feel like a real apology. My dad chimed in, how long are you going to keep bringing this up? Are you going to mention it every time you hit a rough patch? This was the first time I had talked about it with him since it happened, but he acted like I was constantly going on about it. I'm still dealing with it. Even after all these years, it's not something I can just brush off. What's his deal? My dad called my brother and me fucking assholes, and then he lost it and took his anger out on us. That day, my parents ended up saying sorry to me. This happened about 2 years ago. I can't speak for everyone, but honestly, I'm not sure what to think. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're trying to talk to your parents about family sexual abuse and it goes south like mine did, just know that no matter what the person who messed up says, you won't find peace within yourself. Even if they plead for forgiveness, it doesn't really feel genuine. If you're considering going to the police, well, I'm not really sure. If your parents are trying to protect the offender and they're a minor, the results might not be great. Honestly, I even thought about ending it all back then. I used to think that if I had just ended things back then, my family might have felt some guilt and put more blame on my brother. But honestly, saying that makes me feel pretty awful, especially since my family sees it all as my fault and has turned their backs on me. I just can't figure out a clear way forward. All I can do is try to handle it on my own. I still think about that time every now and then. But to be real, I feel a bit foolish. I still get along with my brother. Maybe he's the one who's trying hardest to forget about it. I'm not a pro at this, and even after going through family sexual abuse with my brother, I still can't figure out how to really comfort myself or find a solid solution. Now on to story 2. I got this fridge lock box, and it's really messing with my relationship. So, a bit of background. My boyfriend, 28M, and I, 25F, have been together for 5 years and living together for 3. Honestly, things were going great. We share a joint account where we both chip in monthly for our bills, rent, groceries, all that stuff. Everything else we split down the middle. My boyfriend is 6'3" and weighs 200 pounds, and he works out every day. He needs to eat a lot to keep up with his energy, which is totally fine. But there's this one problem. We buy snacks, and he always finishes my share before I even get a chance to grab any. He's okay with regular food and ingredients, but if it's something quick and easy, it's like it disappears. We argue about it, he apologizes, and then it just happens again. This is literally the only issue we have. Seriously, he's respectful and thoughtful in every other way. But snacks. That's a whole different story. Last week, I completely lost it when he polished off this fancy cheese I was really looking forward to. It was gone in an hour. I was so frustrated that I didn't talk to him for a day and ended up ordering a fridge lock box. After our next grocery run, I split the snacks in half and locked my portion away. You'd think I was committing a crime by the way he reacted. He called it disrespectful and controlling, saying how could I keep food he paid for from him. When I reminded him that my money went into it too, he yelled that he didn't care and stormed out. He slammed the door so hard that a picture fell off the wall and shattered. He didn't come back until the next day, and when he did, he just changed for work and headed straight to the guest room. 4 days of this nonsense. I finally snapped last night and asked him to chat about it, but he told me he wouldn't say a word until I ditched the lockbox. Honestly, I can't believe he reacted this way. I'm seriously concerned he might be using drugs or going through some kind of breakdown. I've never seen a grown man act so irrationally. He's ignoring me but keeps asking if I've gotten rid of the lockbox. There's no way I'm getting rid of it. We're supposed to renew our lease next week, and I'm thinking about just cutting my losses and leaving. Is this relationship even worth saving? What can I do to fix this? He won't talk to me unless I get rid of the lockbox, which isn't happening. How ridiculous is it for Op's boyfriend to jeopardize their whole relationship over some snacks? It's really not that serious. Op deserves to enjoy her own food. Plus, she's not even hoarding everything. She's sharing it fairly. Like Op said, she contributes to the groceries too, so she should get her fair share. Update. Hey everyone, I wanted to share an update since a lot has gone down. My boyfriend kept staying out late and wouldn't talk to me. So, I tried bringing up the lockbox again, saying I didn't think it was a real problem, but he was completely unyielding, claiming it's abusive and controlling to deny him food. I kept pressing, asking if he was on drugs or cheating. I told him that freaking out over something so minor and staying out late was super sketchy. I mentioned that I thought he was using that lockbox as a cover for doing something shady. My comment set off a massive screaming fit that ended with him hurling my MacBook against a wall and breaking it. Honestly, I was scared he might hurt me, so I called my dad. He ended up calling the cops. I don't want to dive too deep into the legal stuff, but I'm definitely pressing charges for the damage. That laptop was worth $2,500. My dad and my godfather helped me move out yesterday, and now I'm on the hunt for a new place. I don't have much besides some clothes and a few kitchen gadgets. I left the lockbox behind but took my snacks because, honestly, forget him. I made sure to leave it locked too. My ex has been blowing up my phone. I'd block him, but I feel like I need to keep this evidence in case he gets worse. I texted him the first night we broke up, took down our pictures and everything. He started going off on me. Some real gems in there. He was furious that I hadn't gotten rid of the lockbox yet. He wanted me to return gifts he gave me. He claimed I owed him money and rent for his new place. He even said I owed him a car. I have no clue why he'd say that since I've never even driven his car. That brand new MacBook was old and worthless to him and he wouldn't buy me a new one. I got it last year, brand new. After about an hour, I think he finally realized we were actually done and couldn't yell at me anymore. Then he started sending me long messages about how he was going to marry me, how much he loves me, and how he wants to improve for me. So, he said I can keep the gifts and that he'll get me a better MacBook. He totally lost it when he saw I took down some pics from social media. Then he started sending me screenshots of engagement rings he found online and told me to choose one. He even sent a few voice messages where he was just crying. Honestly, any respect I had for him is gone. I want nothing to do with him anymore. I don't care if he's having a meltdown or whatever. He's not my issue. I took screenshots of his messages and sent them to his mom. She can handle her son. That's the last I'll do for him. As for me, I'll be fine. I've got some savings, so paying for a new place and the deposit won't be a big deal. It's been a strange week. I feel like I should be upset, but honestly, I've lost all respect for him and just feel disgusted. My parents have been super supportive, bringing me my favorite snacks and gently suggesting therapy, which I think is a good idea. I'll look for a therapist once I'm settled in my new place. Props to Op for getting out of that situation. That ex was totally unhinged. Getting so worked up over something as small as food is a major red flag. No one should be with someone who gets violent over little things like that. Thank you for watching this video. For more content like this, subscribe. I post stories like this from across the internet.